Good morning, welcome back to the Junius Maltby channel. We're going to cover one story today. It was broke earlier by the Nikkei Asian Review. Since breaking, the story has circulated on numerous news outlets under various headlines, such as China sees new world order with oil benchmark backed by gold. Yuan-denominated contract will let exporters circumvent U.S. dollar. China begins to reset the world's reserve currency system. It's a strategic move swapping oil for gold rather than for U.S. treasuries, which can be printed out of thin air. That's a quote regarding the news from Grant Williams. Another headline reads, China readies yuan price crude oil benchmark backed by gold. This is groundbreaking news that is sure to have changes that will ripple through the world economy, world currency markets, commodities, precious metals, and oil. This is going to shake things up, I believe, for the remainder of this year and reshape things going into the future. We've covered the Shanghai Gold Exchange, the SGE, and we did numerous stories on the launch of it earlier last year. And now we see this news regarding gold, the yuan, and oil. We'll read through some of it. Denpasar, Indonesia. China is expected shortly to launch a crude oil futures contract priced in yuan and convertible into gold in what analysts say could be a game changer for the industry. The contract could become the most important Asia-based crude oil benchmark, given that China is the world's biggest oil importer. Crude oil is usually priced in relation to Brent or West Texas Intermediate futures, both denominated in US dollars. China's move will allow exporters such as Russia and Iran to circumvent US sanctions by trading in yuan. To further entice trade, China says the yuan will be fully convertible into gold on exchanges in Shanghai and Hong Kong. The rules of the global oil game may begin to change enormously, said Luke Groman, founder of US-based macroeconomic research company FFTT. The Shanghai International Energy Exchange has started to train potential users and is carrying out systems tests following substantial preparations in June and July. This will be China's first commodities futures contract open to foreign companies such as investment funds, trading houses, and petroleum companies. The existence of a yuan-backed oil and gold futures means that users will have the option of being paid in physical gold, said Alasdair MacLeod, head of research at Gold Money, a gold-based financial services company based in Toronto. Quote, it is a mechanism which is likely to appeal to oil producers that prefer to avoid using dollars and are not ready to accept that being paid in yuan for oil sales to China is a good idea either, unquote, MacLeod said. In one of the other articles we read, a report released by the Nikkei Asian Review indicates that China is prepared to release a yuan-denominated oil futures contract that is convertible, backed by physical gold. The contract will enable China's largest oil suppliers to settle oil sales in yuan rather than in dollars, and then convert the yuan into gold on exchanges in Hong Kong and Shanghai. This is a significant step in removing the global reserve currency status of the dollar and resetting the global economic and geopolitical landscape. Over the past several years, China has quietly established yuan-based currency exchange facilities, which has set up the ability to implement this new non-dollar trade settlement financial instrument. According to the Brookings Institute, 34 central banks around the world have signed bilateral local currency swap agreements with the People's Bank of China as of the end of September 2016, including the major oil-producing countries. With this new contract, China's largest oil suppliers will now be able to transact directly with China and other oil-importing countries using yuan, which are directly convertible into gold to settle the trade. As Alasdair MacLeod asserts, it is a mechanism which is likely to appeal to oil producers that prefer to avoid using dollars and are not ready to accept that being paid in yuan for oil sales to China is a good idea either. I would urge you to read along and listen to this point here. Since 1973, OPEC oil has been quoted and traded using US dollars, otherwise known as petrodollars. The recycling of petrodollars into U.S. treasuries has been the lifeblood of the U.S. economic and political system, in addition to reducing a major source of funding for the U.S. government's enormous deficit spending. The introduction of a gold-backed yuan oil futures contract is an important step toward removing the dollar as the world's reserve currency. More significantly, it reintroduces gold into the global monetary system. While the new gold-backed petro-yuan will allow oil producers to sell oil for gold rather than treasuries, furthermore, it reduces the ability of the U.S. government to impose its will on the rest of the world. It's a strategic step toward not only ridding the world of its dependence on dollars, but also of reducing the ability of the U.S. to exert global economic and financial tyranny. This is written obviously in broken English, and these are articles that are circulating out of the East. So this should give you an idea of some of the sentiments held outside of the United States regarding our policies, our economic practices, and the view the rest of the world might hold regarding our dollar. The author of this article goes on to say, I would also argue that it's one of the primary reasons behind the inability of the Western central banks to drive the price of gold lower recently. The rules of the global oil game may begin to change enormously, says Luke Groman, founder of US-based macroeconomic research company FFTT. For the remainder of this week and month, I would urge you to pay close attention to the price of commodities and the strength of the U.S. dollar on the international market. As this gains steam and momentum, as this new dawn brightens upon the landscape of the world economy, we are going to surely see changes in a struggle, a power struggle among currencies and nations. There is tremendous change in the wind. Thank you for tuning in to the Junius Maltby channel. I urge you to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you all for being here.